has an AA in Arts and Sciences with business classes. Brandon is the author of the book, Come Back to Success, Relentless Commitment for a Better Tomorrow. His book is included in the Los Angeles Public Library catalog. Brandon specializes in doing talks on mental health, speaking from a peer-to-peer perspective. He has his peer-to-peer counseling certification from the Washington State Healthcare Authority. And Brandon's on the board of directors for the mental health organization Whatcom Clubhouse. The title of Brandon's speech today is Embracing Your Mental Health. So welcome, Brandon.
Awesome. Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Mario, for the introduction. And thank you so much to Tanya for this wonderful introduction to invite me to your club to be able to speak to you guys all today about an important topic, mental health. So I'm here because I have a powerful story that I think can really transform a lot of people's lives in our world today with so much chaos, stress, anxiety, depression, and mental health challenges that people are faced with daily. So now, with that being said, you might not have specific challenges with your own mental health, and maybe you might not take away as much as somebody who actually is going through something or who has. However, according to the National Institute of Mental Health, over 50 million Americans are living with a mental illness. 50 million. So I'm actually part of that statistic. I was diagnosed with the condition bipolar disorder at the young age of 19. And so now, kind of my goal for you guys today is if you don't have any connection with these experiences, is that you will hopefully gain some type of educational knowledge to help those around you in your life. With the statistic out there, there's so many people that you might know who is going through mental health challenges or who has in their life, in their past. And so I'm going to give you some more information about my story, where I come from, what I've been able to achieve, and then going through five very powerful components of just what I've sort of created through my own challenges and through the experiences and circumstances that life has presented towards me. And as a result, letting those components be a guide specifically for those that have gone through challenges with mental health, but also really an inspiring story as well. So hopefully you can take something away. So a little bit more about me though. I was born and raised in Bellingham, Washington, Whatcom County, which is where I'm currently living now. I grew up with a sister and two wonderful parents that were really supportive in my journey, in my youth, and just always giving me opportunities to challenge myself and find happiness, just to be a kid and feel welcomed, which unfortunately not every child has that opportunity. So with that being said, some of the opportunities that my spirit was confident and very open-minded to the world. I was also in a sheltered environment as well, specifically speaking, because being in Bellingham is a totally different environment than like Seattle or Los Angeles. And so finding that change of pace and that evolution of my life has come through my own efforts. But specifically in my youth, some of the achievements that I did, to give you more context of how I was able to really be successful, and then to going from to rock bottom, it's normal. Well, it's not normal, but it's okay to accept the realities that you might have experienced some challenges in your own life, and seeing how somebody like myself who has been successful in their youth can still go through mental health challenges. And so specifically, I graduated from high school with a 3.5 GPA. I purchased my first car by myself, age of 17. Won state championship for my high school soccer team. Just to name a few of my accomplishments. I'm not trying to brag, I'm just giving you guys more context so you understand who Brandon Burbank is. And also my my faith in Christ is something that has been unwavering part of my story and my spirit to help give me sustainability, direction, hope, peace of mind, and purpose. So why am I telling you all this? Well, because when you understand me as a person, then you can really see how when the challenges and the difficult experiences that life presents, you and me, we can learn from other people and how we can really transform our lives, transform our mindsets, and allow ourselves to not let our circumstances define who we will become in our future. And I really love that quote that Mario introduced earlier today with, how your 90% of your life is dependent upon your reactions. And I think that's so powerful because I can see it through my life and how I've been able to navigate through crisis and overcoming mental health barriers and obstacles and having to reintroduce myself to myself and also to the community members who have helped me and rebuilding community in my life to give me a source of support and purpose and meaning, which we all deserve to have in life. But we have just so many other variables. Life gets chaotic, and so sometimes those desires or those needs kind of get neglected, and we kind of throw it out the door. And so I'm kind of here to give you guys a kind and gentle way of how to see how, wow, building success is great. Building opportunities to change the world is great, but also being happy and having a happy lifestyle and that's filled with wellness and having sustainability with good mental health is another, it's a priceless thing to have as well. So the 5 components that I'm going to talk about today are: step 1, develop self-awareness. Step 2, confide in someone you trust. Step 3, take charge of your life. Step 4, accept change. Step 5, be patient for changes to come. All right, let's start with step 1, develop self-awareness. So I'm going to go through a couple of the experiences that have really been transformative and the catalyst for why I discovered my passion, my purpose in life to inspire and to really make a difference in the lives of other people in the realm of talking about mental health. So specifically, at the age of 19, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And the hospitalizations that I've encountered in my life have been very difficult. And I'm not going to go into detail because, too much into detail, because I don't want to re-traumatize and bring up bad memories with me and then also with you guys, because my goal is to help give you guys awareness and understanding of what I've gone through so you can empathize through my words and what I say in my story. At 19, I studied abroad in Barcelona, Spain, and then I was really depressed for 6-month period of time until eventually I ended up in the hospital and was really kind of forced to by my parents because they were you're not getting anywhere, you're not getting any help that you might need at the time. And eventually I just started to realize that, they were right, but because I didn't know what I was doing with my life, just like a lot of youngsters out there who are still trying to navigate their journey and finding role models and people of leadership to help give them valuable feedback. So that's kind of the problem that I encountered was at 19 years of age and growing up in this environment of Whatcom County for the majority of my life, I didn't have any type of social support who was mental health oriented, so to speak, where people were asking me questions about my mental health and why I'm behaving this way, why I'm feeling this way, which the results were lost, a lot of lostness. And so that's kind of why I say that a lot of people in treatment or in any type of mental health challenges, they're going through challenges without having any type of direction or support. And so as a result, I ended up in the hospital, and Yeah, it was a very difficult experience. Picture a 19-year-old walking into, like, being escorted by 2 security guards into the psych ward from another department at like 1 a.m. and then crying. You're crying to that night to sleep, and then waking up again and having breakfast and whatever, and being in this like unfamiliar environment and going ahead and crying again. And it's like, that's the reality of what I've experienced, and that's just the bottom line. Is like, but there's hope, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to like bring you down at all, because I'm happy, I'm healthy, and I'm grateful to be here to give you guys this perspective, which many other people can relate to, but they don't have, maybe they don't have the confidence to talk about it openly, which is very brave, because there's a lot of stigma. But the other thing I'll say is just I've dedicated my life to this because I feel like it's my calling, and I've been able to transform my life in the midst of darkness and pain that has been so like unbearing, which many of you have your own problems and challenges, which I can totally empathize with. But with developing self-awareness, the other component I'll say is the halfway house that really was another catalyst in my mental health journey. This was in 2017, and just after being discharged from another hospitalization, I was sent to live, and I pretty much like had no choice to live in a halfway house in Bellingham, Washington for some time, and it was about a total of a month. And that was another time where I'm not trying to give you guys like this lecture here. I'm just trying to be like real here, on the real here right now. It's because by giving you guys these realities of things that were really hard to recognize and accept, I still somehow managed to like love myself through the journey and through the pain. I mean, at the halfway house, there was times when I would be like walking around in circles in the not the playground, but like the yard, and just like crying, because I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know who to like reach out to. I don't know what to do with my life right now. And so that's developing self-awareness. And that's where a lot of people in this world don't know how to face their problems head on within themselves. And so I don't feel like when I speak about this pain that I have dealt with successfully, I don't speak about it from a victimhood mindset. In fact, these experiences are what God has given to me in my life. And it's the journey that has helped me essentially progress and find direction and hope and meaning and sustainability, to learn more about myself, how my gifts are I feel like my gifts are very raw and very real, but I know that from the experiences that I've had in the lives of people who have touched my heart and my life as well, I know that other people have their own gifts as well that I don't have. And so I'm thankful enough to know that I don't know everything, I never will, but when it comes to like speaking about mental health, the best way that I can make deep connections with other people and how to really help them navigate hope and foster wellness is through sharing my story. And so that's really developing self-awareness, and that really kind of is the baseline, like I said. But yeah, so, and then the other thing I'll say with developing self-awareness is the mental health treatment program. After I was in the halfway house, I went directly to Skyline Trail in Atlanta, Georgia, which was such a blessing, even though I didn't want to be there. And it's, you know, I'm still like 21 years old, and I'm still semi in denial about my diagnosis, my condition, and having to recognize that there's something that I need to work on and manage in my life. But the positive thing is that places like Skyline Trail and organizations that are helping people with mental health challenges it gives them a place of community and a place to find wellness and find hope and purpose and meaning. And I can't really specify that enough because of how important it is for an individual who is in recovery or who has just relapsed or who has gone through mental health challenges. If they have a place where they feel like they belong, where they feel accepted, and they feel like they can be safe. I mean, let's talk about safety right now. There's so many kids out there who are struggling with just feeling able to like go to bed comfortably at night and then go to school and being able to be successful in school when they're going through so much, domestic violence at home or whatever. And, those are the types of things that will like cause mental health challenges for a kid. And then having that child to like, for example, work through that baggage for the rest of their life, you wonder why there's so many kids who are going through challenges in their adult life because they don't know how to successfully work through their baggage that was kind of out of their control when they were youngsters. So that's develop self-awareness. All right. Step 2, confide in someone you trust. Oh boy, this is another hard one, but this is another very effective way to instill in someone's life hope. Instill in someone's life the opportunity to invite them to change their life if they want to. And I've had to learn this firsthand many times and still sometimes have to work on this because of the fact that me personally, I'm very self-sufficient, I'm very like independent, individualized thinker. And so because of those changes that we all have to have people in our lives, essentially, is the bottom line. And so when it comes to like mental health, since we're talking on that right now, I'm giving you more, I'm giving you more with confiding in someone you trust and recognizing that, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought right now. The image is what I'm trying to give you is like when I've successfully been able to navigate the challenges, it's majority of the time has been because of the fact that I've had somebody who I could confide with. Somebody who's in a leadership role, somebody who's in a mentorship role, somebody who is in a caring role in my life who actually cares about me. But the problem, which many of us, I think, can relate with is we don't actually have, well, we just don't want to, or we don't know how to effectively ask for help. So that's really kind of the bottom line is like when you ask for help successfully and you know how to work through your problems, I guarantee you that by having other people in your life is much better than not having than by trying to do it yourself. And that's kind of why is the prime example for me, like at the young age of 19, and what that looked like, it was very hard because I was not reaching out for help from others. And the other example was after returning from studying abroad, I was working with a therapist, and she was asking me a lot of questions that was trying to help me convey myself and understand and giving me direction and feedback. However, because of my unwillingness to really accept and like ask for her help, it led me to, just eventually continue down the road of non-beneficial way of living. Which is why recognizing for those of you, in this audience who are challenged or working through mental health challenges or know somebody who has mental health challenges, if you have support, that will help you immensely. Step 3, take charge of your life. But before we do that, I want to pause this moment and take a look at the screen, and I want to ask you all to kindly, if you could provide me with a review on my Talkadot form. It gives me a chance to to better improve my speaking abilities and just to better serve more audiences in the future as I continue on in this journey. We'll take about a 2-minute break, and then when you're done, just put your thumbs up. Thank you. Hey, Sal. You done? Cool, thank you. We'll take 30 more seconds, and then I'll wrap it up. Sweet. All right. So let's jump back into it with step 3, take charge of your life. You might be wondering, what does that mean? Take charge of your life. Accountability, responsibility, discipline, direction, awareness, growth. Those are all the words that come to mind for me in how I reflect on my life story and the challenges that I've successfully navigated through and been able to appreciate more of those challenges because they've made me who I am, and they've given me a sense of how I can learn to grow to better improve my life and not repeat those lessons and mistakes, and recognizing the pitfalls of how to better navigate my life successfully rather than just constantly relying upon other people like 100%. Because I think that when you're in recovery, if you have a sense of direction and a sense of purpose, which I believe that ultimately at the bottom of everybody's heart, they want to be successful and have purpose, taking charge of your life is a big component to that. And so I speak, from my own experiences and from my own confidence as well, because of what I've been able to achieve in my life and overcome. And I also recognize that the sky's the limit, because a lot of other people out there have their own abilities and how they can work through challenges that maybe I can't work through. And so recognizing what works for me, and that's why I start with the first components, developing self-awareness, and how that really sets everything up for success. And I know that the large portion of this speech was kind of negative or just like difficult to digest. And my hope is that we'll transition now in the finishing of this speech to give you guys more hope and just happiness and joy and positivity, and seeing how you can change your life, period. You can be successful. You can be the best version of yourself and appreciate what you have in your life, what God has given you, and your own abilities to impact others. So, step 4 is accepting change. And I'm going to talk about that briefly because accepting change, what that looks like, what's that looked like for me when I was in the halfway house and I was like thrown into this environment that was so unknown and very like disconnecting from others and community, is that I had to realize this is where I'm at now and this is what I can do to survive, to literally try and overcome this. And I just had faith in God and also in myself that I would get through these challenges. And some of those ways of what helped me was music. Music, really, because it touches your heart, it touches your soul in a way that you can find ways of how those artists or singers are singing their stories, or just the melodies and whatever you want to call it. That's what's helped me in my recovery and just in my own life. And so accepting change is really allowing yourself to realize that some things are out of our control, period. But that doesn't mean we have to let that circumstance define us. You know the saying, you can be going through so much difficulties, but you can still be on top of the world. I believe that is very true and very valid because I've experienced that mindset many times when I was living in California and I had minimum amount of support and embarking on a trip back to move to Washington, and then so many other challenges that started to come my way. So the last step I'll talk about is step 5, be patient for changes to come. So successfully and thankfully, I was able to navigate through many crises in my life. And I decided to start taking the leap of faith and asking myself how I can be better in the midst of still working on mental health recoveries and challenges. So what I ended up doing was I moved away from Bellingham and I moved to Seattle, Washington. I lived there for 10 months, and then I knew actually before I moved to Seattle that I wanted to move here. The only problem was I didn't know how I could do it. So I moved to Seattle, and I continued to find personal growth and find wellness and a litany of experiences that has helped me transform my life, obviously. And then moving to Long Beach, obviously, was another difficult experience, but also a transformative experience because it's made me who I am. And I don't know many folks where I've come from who have experienced these things that I have created in my own life. And so in the midst of these challenges with mental health, I've kind of obviously haven't just let life pass me by. Like I've just taken advantage of the opportunities that, to speak here or to speak there, or to just be thankful for what I have and be grateful for what God has given me in my life. And don't look at the small things that I do have. Be thankful for what I have had in my life, because there's been times when you felt like you had it all, or you're on top of the world, but you still don't feel fulfilled and like you have meaning and purpose. And so those are priceless things that I have learned to accept and to find wellness from. And so being patient and allowing the success to build, but it also comes through time and effort and a lot of patience. So what do you need to do right now to take action for your life? How can you find innovative ways that only you can accomplish to change your life, which in turn will inspire another life in this world? So, my message was a message of hope, a message of resiliency and positivity from an optimistic person, but also kind of giving you the realities of just the baseline of what I've experienced and how being the person that I am today is not easy. But I don't really I don't think, the last thing I'll say is that I don't want to say that the person that I've become is great, but I don't want to just like put on a show and put on a scene and say that I have it all figured out, because I don't. But I'm very happy enough to say that there's hope for other people, and you can make connections in your own life as well as the people around you. So thank you so much, everybody, Lakewood Rotary Club. Mario, do you want to open it up for Q&A?
Yeah, yes. Does anybody have any questions?
You went through all this in the last 2 years?
No.
Oh, I thought you said 19 and you said you're 21?
I'm 27.
Oh, I thought you said 21. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh, 27. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you say you've moved to Long Beach. What are you doing now?
Well, actually, I lived in Long Beach for over 2 years, and I moved back about a year ago to Washington. And, excuse me, right now I'm speaking professionally to Rotary clubs and any other opportunities that really present themselves and that are, within the means of travel and whatnot. And so I just feel like this is my calling, and that's why, I've been doing this for free for years, actually, and I think that's what it takes. Like, if you want to be great at something, you really have to defy the odds and say, I don't care, because this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that's why it's essentially it's going to like shatter the barriers, and I'll create my own opportunities because of my persistence, my faith in myself, those are the two words that come to mind.
Well, so many people I know that have gone through your journey have gone on to become therapists or group leaders to help other people along with to share their, not just through speaking, but people that are going through it themselves, have helped them, other people, through the journey. Because it is a journey. It's a lifelong journey.
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
Have you had the opportunity or had the time to like come alongside other people and mentor them, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I'm on the board of directors for the Whatcom Clubhouse in Bellingham, Washington. Clubhouse International, that's where they're affiliated through, and they're based out of New York City. They were founded in 1940. So being part of the board of directors for Clubhouse, I can go to the Clubhouse, have conversations with other Clubhouse members who are people who with a diagnosis or just working on some type of challenge. I'm glad you asked me that, because I literally had a conversation with about 4 members last week, and all 4 of them actively participated and shared what they're struggling with and what they can do to overcome that, and actually channel their struggles to find accountability so that they can help themselves.
Well, this is not a question, but because of your age, there's such in the 20s, there's and beyond, but you are in a great place to be able to come alongside somebody, because you got this young age, and there's all these kids out there that are suffering.
Yeah.
There's just too much out there,
Well, that's where you just have to take it one step at a time, because don't get overwhelmed, really. Like, just take it in stride and recognize that you have your gifts and I have mine, and don't be somebody you're not.
Right.
So that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon, for inviting me.
Yeah.
It's a difficult question, I have a friend that I've known throughout high school. He's now starting college, but suspect that perhaps he might be not having not good. It's just that he's susceptible to some kind of a mental health issue because of his family history and his environment. Going back to someone who's 18, they're oblivious to all of this. How would you even approach them about that subject, or do you just leave it alone?
diagnosed at the age of 19, and I was in self-denial for a few years, actually. So I can totally empathize with many other 18-year-olds who are like, what? What's mental health? And that's why it takes somebody who, like myself, who has charisma, a positive attitude, personality, and a strong story to, actually make a connection. And then that's where, the sky's the limit. Thank you.
Is
Yeah.
Clubhouse, is this something for anybody throughout the whole country can contact for help?
Oh, that's a good question. It just depends on the state and city you're in, because it's still evolving, it's still emerging. And so in California, I think there's a couple in LA, and there's a few in California, and a few in Michigan and Pennsylvania, but I don't know where all of them are located. So
They all called Clubhouse?
no, actually, some of them are called something else, because there's one in Utah that's something else that board directors go there for training. So, yeah.
What is the name of your book?
Oh, good question. Yeah, so my book is called Come Back to Success, Relentless Commitment for a Better Tomorrow. Yeah, so it's going to be for sale as well, $20, and I'll sign it for you. So, thank you.
Any other questions? Brandon, thank you so much. Thank
you.
One of the ways we thank our speakers is presenting them with the book that we put at a local elementary school.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to take a photo right here.
Okay.
Let's stand right here.
Yeah.
And then your book, and then
That's like, who's got the camera?
Yeah, right. Where's Karen?
Where's Karen? I'm here. Let me do one more. Got it, thank you.
thank you, Brandon, again. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Mario. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Okay, we're going to do our raffle. Opportunity drawing. Just a reminder, definitely could use some more prizes. Thank you, Tanya, for bringing more in, as well as Stacy. Numbers 875.
That's not mine.
Oh, there he is.